Judging from the statements at the emergency meeting of the Antigua Parliament on Sunday, the Antigua government is still desperately seeking to save whatever is left of the long-standing regional airline LIAT. The Antigua delegation attends a shareholders meeting on Monday seeking to make one final case for bailing out the airline. But from all indications, the other major shareholders, especially St. Vincent and Barbados, have gone way past the idea. During the last week, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves quipped that he is not looking forward to the past. But that did not stop parliamentarians in Antigua from making their case for LIAT. From all reports, 6 airlines have expressed interest in filling the void left by LIAT, but the one that appears best poised is InterCaribbean Airways, which already dominates travel in the Northern Caribbean. Even before now, InterCaribbean has flown as far south as St. Lucia and now within weeks can add such locations as Barbados, Grenada, Trinidad, St. Vincent, and Guyana to its list. The Turks and Caicos-based InterCaribbean is headed by founder and CEO Lyndon Gardiner, who we are pleased to welcome for the first time to the week that was. Our interview with Mr. Gardiner starts right now. Mr. Gardiner, thank you for joining us and welcome to our program. Let's start here. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and about your airline, InterCaribbean Airways.
As you know, my name is Lyndon Gardiner. I'm a native of the Turks and Caicos Islands, and I was born and raised right here in the Turks and Caicos. After finishing school, my career was in banking and finance, and then I later moved into aviation as a private pilot. Following the lead of my older brothers, who were already aviators, one of them was a pilot himself, and then the other one was an air traffic controller. Having worked in the bank, I had an opportunity to take someone on a short sightseeing flight. I was able to recover some costs from doing that. That really enticed me to continue on in aviation. And so I ended up buying my first aircraft and flying myself, and shortly thereafter created what was then Inter-Island Airways, which was a charter company providing charters throughout the Caribbean. And that was basically in 1991 when we started Inter-Island Airways, and in 1992 we got the airline certificated as Inter-Island Airways, and the rest is history. We just continue to grow from there to there. In 2003, we changed the name of the company from Inter-Island Airways to Air Turks and Caicos. We then got scheduled service license, and we began offering services from the Turks and Caicos to various neighboring destinations, including the Bahamas, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Jamaica. In 2013, we recognized that there was not the kind of integrated services in the Northern Caribbean or the Western Caribbean. And so we first of all rebranded the company InterCaribbean Airways, and then we started offering connective services through Providenciales to these various islands. We then included Cuba, and we just continue to expand our footprint.
We're told that pre-COVID you were rapidly expanding. Tell us about that and how COVID has affected those plans.
Well, we were rapidly expanding. We had basically covering the entire Northern Caribbean. And so we've had set our sights in the Southern Caribbean actually since 2016. And we had grown pretty systematically in that area. Prior to COVID, we were on the BVIs, we were in Dominica, we were in St. Lucia, we were in St. Martin, and St. Juan. So we did have a presence in that region. Our growth strategy had called for us to be basically in all major cities in the Caribbean by 2025. We expect to see some slowing of that objective, but clearly we recognize the opportunity is still there to fulfill that dream.
they're having has kind of opened up the door for you in terms of the Southern Caribbean, the Eastern Caribbean. This must present now a huge opportunity for you.
Absolutely. And it's an opportunity that we're very eager to follow. Our company, as you know, is 28 years old. We have a fleet that is 1.5 times the number of aircraft that LIAT operates. Prior to COVID, we were operating in 14 countries and in 22 cities. Now, with the push that we're going to enter some of the Eastern Caribbean markets, we're looking to take that up to 18 countries and 27 cities in a fairly short period of time. And we're very excited about the possibilities and being able to bring our brand to that side of the Caribbean.
So how has the negotiations and the discussions been going with the authorities in those areas that you're looking to expand, the Eastern and the Southern Caribbean in particular?
Well, I think the negotiations have been going quite well. I think the governments of those countries have been very upright and knowing, first of all, what kind of aviation strategy that they want to have for the islands. Certainly all wants to have good connectivity. And I think that once we start with the 18 countries and add on the additional cities, making it 27 cities, we're the best bet for a pan-Caribbean airline. Our tentacles will move from Georgetown, Guyana in the south to Havana, Cuba in the north. And I would venture to say that only the sun covers the Caribbean better than we do.
That's a good tagline. But covering the Caribbean is one thing. So since the start of regional travel, there have been all types of problems. LIAT has tried. We've seen a slew of other airlines come in and failed. What is the strategy with your airline that's going to succeed financially and serve the Caribbean well in a twofold purpose here?
Well, first of all, I think our fleet choices is a major important part of that. You will know that we operate 30-seat turboprops that are able to get into all of the islands. And so I think we have a right size in terms of capacity. We also have the ability with that right size capacity to actually improve on the frequency of flights and the timing of the flights, the frequency of flights, and having the right capacity, I think, is a winning combination. We also operate 50-seat jets, and they are going to be used for some of the longer journeys. And so between the combination of both the 30 seats and the 50 seats, we feel that we're well positioned to take advantage of all of the market opportunities. I think, quite frankly, as a private airline, we have some benefits that LIAT that did not necessarily have. One of them is we have the ability to make quick decisions and implement them rapidly. We have been operating these aircraft for right about 16 years, some of them. And so, we've gotten down the operations and the costs of operations, down to a science, really. And I think that they will make a difference in terms of the cost. We have traditionally been able to offer better flying alternatives, cheaper costs for the consumer. And that has, in the past, helped us to generate more ridership on our aircraft and in turn make it a viable proposition for the operations.
So I know you touched on it. Cost of travel within the region is extremely expensive. There are times you can buy a ticket much cheaper to go from, for example, Grenada to JFK in New York versus from Grenada to Trinidad or to Barbados. What assurances can you give Caribbean people and Caribbean travelers that, cost effectiveness will be something that you focus on in order to generate business and to give the Caribbean people confidence to start traveling again?
Well, first of all, I think our, as I said, we've been operating these aircraft for a number of years. We've gotten the operations down to science. Our cost being a rather small airline when you consider the size. I mean, we have 1.5 times the number of airplanes that LIAT has, yet we employ roughly about 50% of the staff that they have. We employ just over 400 employees with our group, but about 300 plus dedicated employees of the airline. And so just from the standpoint of that, the other standpoint is I would admit that some of our airplanes are a little older, like the turboprops. They were made in the late 1990s. But they're also, as you know, airplanes are designed to be maintained to as new type status. And the cost of the assets is not the same as those of the assets that LIAT has, for instance. And so all of these things brings into proportion what it is that we're charging. One other important component that we see is the fact that now the governments are ready to give some concessions as it relates to airport and departure taxes. We feel that that is going to be a tremendous boost to travel in the Caribbean and make it more affordable. I think, I've already indicated that our scheduling is one thing that we feel is going to encourage travel. We also feel that because of the dynamics we bring and the lower cost of operations that we bring will also mean cheaper ticket prices. And then if the government goes through with their plans to reduce taxes on travel even further, that would definitely have the impact, the desired impact of having more travel in the region. And more travel in the region obviously means that if we've got more bodies on the plane, that we can even lower the price and continue to offer a good service.
You mentioned the age of your aircrafts. It begs the question about safety. What has been your safety record like as we wrap up finally here?
Well, we have an impeccable safety record in the 28 plus years that we've been in operations. And I think, a lot of this information is available on the internet. We've not had any accidents or incidents or any serious breaches or any suspensions or violations of our certificate. And I think that is important. We have a very robust SMS, safety management system program that the company has is very engaged in and promotes safety throughout our entire organization. And I think those are things that will help us as we expand, but they are also the things that has kept this airline safe for the 28 plus years that we've been in business.
Mr. Gardiner, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to hearing more from you and your endeavors in the coming weeks and months. We appreciate the time there joining us from the Turks and Caicos.
Thank you very much for having me, and we look forward to the opportunities in the Caribbean with our brothers and sisters. Thank you.
It is the week that was. Still to come, we delve into some politics. We're going into Trinidad and, of course, Guyana. We'll be right back.